Good morning, everyone. Just going to go through developments yesterday to today. Iran and Israel agreed to a ceasefire after the U.S. Bombing, and Trump saying you cannot throw any more bombs. But it doesn't look like it's holding. And my opinion is it's not likely to hold unless there's a little bit more emphasis on it. And they've always been in conflict of some sort there anyway. So we'll see if it can hold. Like, it's going to take something to hold it, but I'm not sure if it will. So you can just see some of the headlines here. Trump says both Israel and Iran violated ceasefire. Iranian Israel celebrates ceasefire despite reports of violations. So as news keeps coming out, there's more and more reports that there's bombing still happening. Crude oil, we're going to say that it's going to probably have some reiterations of depending on what level of the breach of the ceasefire goes on here. So here's an interesting report here too. The crop conditions come out, and I'm going to comment on crop conditions. It's just a drive-by, I'm sure. 60 mile an hour looking at crops, and for a good part of a lot of the areas, corn and soybeans especially, was quite hot, and it looked like it was under stress. So the visual would say that its crop conditions went down. The other issue I have with maybe just talking about winter wheat, you can see the 49% or 49% good to excellent. Like, these are below some of the trade estimates, but as winter wheat is heading and starting to dry down, it never looks as good, right? It's dying, and when things are dying, it doesn't look as good, or maturing, I guess you would say. But yeah, just keep note on that as well. And it's a very poor indicator of what the crop is doing as far as yield as well. Not great correlations at all. So let's just get looking at the weather here. You can see the 7-day precipitation anomaly forecast. You can still see that there is some rain forecast in these regions, and hopefully it hits some of these northern areas in both Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and eliminate some of those fires that got lit up there. The last report I did talk about, it was like 103 of the 116 fires were man-made. So, and that was only Manitoba. So same thing could have happened in Saskatchewan, I would expect. But you can see that this whole high pressure versus low pressure, where the systems are riding, and there's a fair bit of moisture getting added into those ridge riders, as Eric Snodgrass is talking about. Here's your heat that we're seeing here, and it's still quite hot in the east U.S. Here's your 7-day precipitation forecast, and it's just, I have it rolling here, and you can see that it adds a fair bit of moisture in a lot of the growing areas in U.S. and Canada. Here's your map, and you can still see that there's still some active weather going across Saskatchewan. What I'm showing here is just, and it's updated, but it's still 2 days it's still 2 days delayed, but it changed a fair bit in this map. There was a lot of brown up here in the last map, and maybe what I should do is actually show the map, but you can see that there's decent amount of moisture is starting to show up in there. Here is just the last 14 days, and that's changed quite a bit here as well. The last visual that I sent, it only had started to show some of the rain, but we have gotten rain the last couple of days as well, so it's probably going to show a little bit more rain in that area as well. Soil moisture map. Again, this is NASA predictions, and you can see that we're not in as big a trouble as we were earlier. Just have a look at the markets here. Canola is down pretty heavy again. We're down to 709. $15 down on the overnights, with our 20-some yesterday. Rapeseed is down $11 to $12. Soybean oil is down 1.12 cents on the day. Crude oil sitting around the 74. Let's just have a look at these markets now. So you can see that big long red candles, both of them are starting to show up pretty heavily here. So defend for the market to go down here. And I think a lot of that is because of the moisture, but also some sort of cooler heads prevailing, I guess, in the Middle East, possibly. And if that gets elevated again, it'll shoot back up. So we'll just see if that's going to hold. Here's your January futures, and you can see that it's coming up to some of those short-term moving averages as well. Rapeseed actually gapped lower on the news, and we'll see if some of these moving averages will hold it. But it's back into that wedge that I had drawn. Almost looks like soybean oil is going to try to fill this gap that's here, because there is a gap there, and markets tend to try to fill the gaps. Soybean futures themselves, pretty deep red days there, and looks like it's up against a whole slew of moving averages, the 200 and some of the short-term moving averages there as well. Crude oil futures, this is the big candle that we had yesterday, wide trading range, pulled way back and still looking like it wants to pull back some more. Here's just the weekly of the same situation here. So Canadian dollar, a little bit green today, but it looks like it might try to break through this little bit of a pendant that I might have there going on. Let's have a look at wheat. Still probably holding this uptrend here by the look of the chart all by itself in isolation. When you look at Kansas, it's pulled back here as well. Would like to see it actually bounce off some of these moving averages if it at all can. But you can see that it actually had a lid on it on the 200-day moving average. It stopped it from trading much above there. And in the Kansas or the Chicago, it did exactly the same thing. So we need these moving averages to maybe try to hold it into some sort of support or channel going up here. And corn did not have a good day. We're breaking lower, making lower lows there. And I think that's all I have for you today.